Guys, this is my 2003 Bombardier Quest 650. What we're going to do today is install my 60-inch PowerMax ATV snowplow onto the ATV. So we're going to install some mounting brackets underneath the ATV, and I'll show you how to do that. So I brought the ATV in the garage. I've just pushed the plow underneath the ATV. So what we want to check before we actually install the plow mount is the blade swivels left and right. So you want to make sure before you install the mount that it's not back too far, or when you swivel the plow back, it will end up hitting the front tires. So make sure you have probably about 6 inches of gap, because plows tend to move a little bit back and forth, and you don't want to be too far forward or it decreases the pushing power. It makes your plow a little bit more flimsy. So you want the plow mount about the middle of the ATV. So this just shows you what a comfortable amount of room is, about a hand width between the plow and the front tire. Again, you don't want it too close, because these plows tend to move a little bit back and forth. There's a little bit of flex in them, so you want to make sure there's enough gap here, so when you're pushing on the snow, it's not going to force the plow blade into the front tire. So that there should work, and we're going to go see underneath where the best spot to mount it is for the plow mount. This is the plow mount. So it's actually going to mount like this underneath the four-wheeler, and it's mounted with U-bolts. This is what the U-bolts look like, and they're going to go over top of the frame, hang down, and then the nuts are going to be bolted from the bottom side of it. And these little brackets here, that's what your plow blade actually connects to, with some quick connects. This is looking underneath the ATV. Again, this is the quick connect, so this is what's going to mount your plow tubes to your mounting bracket that's going to go underneath here. So the U-bolts are actually going to go over top of the frame. I'm going to assume I'm going to put 2 here and 2 further up on the frame. But just looking underneath here, I'm probably going to have to move the plow tube or the plow ahead probably 3 or 4 inches, because the way my mounting brackets are, I'm not going to be able to mount the plow mount to the frame here and here because it's too wide. So the furthest I can go back is going to be about here. So I'm going to pull the plow ahead probably 3 or 4 inches, and then we'll get the plow mount under. Jack her up, make it a little easier to work on. Now, just before I get the plow mount on, I'm going to re-grease my 4 grease points on the front A-arms on both sides. And then there's a grease point in the center for the steering. Again, here, and over there. And I have a video on doing that if you want to check that out. All right, so we got the 2 back U-bolts on. So it takes a little bit of finessing. This is quite heavy. It's a lot easier with 2 people doing it, 1 person holding it and 1 person kind of adjusting the U-bolts. Just make sure when you're doing it not to cover up your oil drain plug. So the next step is to find out where I should be mounting the front U-bolt, and then we'll get this all snugged up, and we'll give it a try. So we got the U-bolts over top of the frame on both sides. So you make sure that the plow bracket is centered. So when I'm tightening it down, I'll make sure it's equal distance on both sides. And before I do tighten it down, I'm going to rush check the top of this plow bracket and any part on the inside of the frame and underneath the bike. That way, it's mainly going to be used this winter for plowing, so you're going to get a lot of salt and whatnot on it between washing it and snowstorms. So you want to make sure that this doesn't rust out prematurely. So next step is to tighten up all the nuts and make sure it's centered, and spray some rust check underneath the bike. Things all tightened down. Again, it's a great mounting bracket. I was short a couple U-bolts, but I had a couple kicking around. They're going to send me some more. So the next step is to get it mounted. Now I should mention too, if you're keeping this on when you're going four-wheeling, you might want some shorter U-bolts, because you can see how far these actually stick down, and not to mention how big this mounting plate is. So you may end up wanting to trim this, and I may do this next spring, is actually trim part of this off, so don't have this big piece sticking out, because it would fetch up on something when you're four-wheeling. To install your push tubes for your plow to your mounting bracket, comes with this and here. So what you want to do is line up this hole, and it's going to go in between. You're going to put your bolt through, and I'm going to make sure these are on the outside, so if I have to take it off, it's easily accessed. Just like that, and we're going to do the same to the other side. Next step, now that both pins are in, is we want to bring out the winch cable and hook it to the eye hook. I still need to tighten up the nut on the other side. There you go. That's a short video on how to install your plow mounting brackets underneath your ATV. And again, these principles can be applied to many other types of ATVs. Again, showing where the winch is connected to the eye bolt. And again, that's your swivel point there. And just make sure in the installation video on installing this, putting it all together, I showed how to put a lot of grease in there so it swivels nice and easy. Certainly does squat the front end of the ATV though. And this isn't a small one, this is a 650. Seems to be built quite well, so we'll certainly see how it performs. Again, I'm going to spray some more oil underneath of it, and I'm going to spray oil in the push tubes too for the plow, because they're going to build up with salt and snow and ice. Anyways guys, again, just a video on how to install your ATV plow. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you post them below, or if you have tips for other viewers, make sure you leave them below. Thanks for watching. Take care.